Star Trek. Discovery brought the space opera back to TV screens in 2017 after 12 years away. And it did so while using a specific formula the Star Trek franchise still hasn't repeated since. Star Trek's modern era began with Discovery, and although the show wasn't universally praised, it did at least try several new things and open the door for more movies and TV shows. Not every season of Star Trek Discovery followed the same blueprint as the show's inaugural run, but it did revisit the concept a little in later seasons. The first effort from the TV franchise's modern era stood apart from every Star Trek show that had preceded it. Although there were several ways in which Discovery ultimately made Star Trek better, it was also criticized for straying too far from what made the franchise such a success. That being said, the show began with at least one huge hallmark from Star Trek's golden age, and it has perhaps been underappreciated for this reason. None of its successors have tried to pull it off again, nor does it look like Star Trek intends to attempt it anytime soon. Star Trek Discovery Season 1 was the perfect jumping-on point for new fans. There was no requirement for those watching to have any previous experience with the franchise, but pre-existing Trekkies could still pick up on its canonical relevance, such as the show's place in the Star Trek timeline. One of the most notable ways Discovery achieved this was by introducing an entirely new set of main characters. There was no backstory to be aware of other than the information supplied in the episodes. Of course, this wasn't anything new at the time. Every previous Star Trek show had done exactly the same thing, perhaps with the exception of Star Trek, the animated series, which was really just a continuation of Star Trek, the original series. However, Star Trek Discovery was the last show to begin this way. There is perhaps an argument for Star Trek Prodigy Season 1 filling this same criteria, but the presence of members of the Star Trek Voyager cast means it didn't do what Discovery did. Star Trek Lower Decks is also in the argument for beginning with a wholly original batch of characters. On the other hand, the animated comedy is so riddled with cameos and references to the larger canon that the Star Trek franchise itself almost becomes a living, breathing character. While it's an absolute wonderland for established fans, it would be very difficult for newcomers to fully appreciate it.